Hey everybody, welcome back to another show of What's Up with Nick and Chuck. Today we're going to talk with you about ergonomics.
Hi folks, welcome back to this episode of What's Up with Nick and Chuck. On this show we talk about product development as it relates to medical devices, and in our industry specifically related to carts.
What we do here in Kiel, Wisconsin at HUI is we specialize in the design, engineering, prototyping, and production of custom medical carts and standard carts as well. And one of the things that is often overlooked, but in some cases a lot of companies will take and focus additional time on catering to the human factors, how the users are going to be interacting with the device and the product on our carts that we design and manufacture. So Nick, can you tell us a little bit about this cart in particular?
Absolutely. So there are a couple of key factors related as it relates to human factors regarding this cart. One is handle placement. So when we were looking at different designs and different configurations for handle, we always start with looking at a 50 percentile person, both male and female. And so handle placement in the transport position as well as in the lowest position too. So when you're doing finite adjustments and movements. And so the ease of movement is quite critical when it comes to medical carts. The second thing that we always focus on is the height adjustment side of it. So now you're not only focused on the 50 percentile person, but you're also focused on those that are a bit taller. So when it comes to height adjustability, having a good range of height, in this case somewhere between about 8 and 10 inches of height adjustability was very key in this project. The third thing that was focused on this cart was other arms and devices that would hold their specific product, but flex arms and monitor arms, keyboard trays, and then especially when the cart is in its lowest position, so that it acts more like a desk. We've got a chair here, and again, they would have their device right here, and odds are they would, we don't have a keyboard on here right now, but there would be a keyboard tray. So this cart has to be at an ergonomically good height when it comes to being in the sitting position as well as in the standing position.
Another factor that we look at in design consideration for you guys that are putting together device platforms is monitor arms. There's just a plethora of different monitor arms available out there from many different suppliers, many different sources, and they all really operate and function a little bit differently. The things that we take into consideration is one, the placement of where that monitor arm is going to be mounted. Two, the amount of range that is available in the motion of the monitor that's going to be living on the VESA mount. And then three, the overall height and swing distance that monitor is going to be experiencing. Nick had alluded to also how it's going to be used, and the monitor positioning for that particular mount needs to be ergonomically correct in order for that user to not get fatigued while using it.
The other thing about ergonomics specific to this cart on this particular project is there's a Bowden release handle located right on the bottom side of the cart here. So that release handle was specifically placed in a position that the user it'd be more natural for the user to push down or pick up the top work surface versus if it was located in the back or further on the side, closer to the center of the column. Where this has got a cable system on it, again, to allow that Bowden release or the arm release to be able to move closer to the front of the cart, to allow the cart to be able to raise and lower at a more ergonomically pleasing spot. The other thing that on this cart that we did falls into the human factors and the ergonomic, or not necessarily ergonomics, but more human factors, is there is soft touch paint applied to different surfaces to indicate where do you put your hands. So for example, on this particular cart, there's a soft touch piece on the front, this front fascia piece here. So this is designed for the hand to be able to go and just do finite adjustments on the cart so that users know that that's where my hand needs to be placed.
Another thing too that should also be taken into consideration while developing the cart platform that's going to be living around your device is if an operator has an opportunity to put their foot or their hand someplace, odds are very good that they're going to. Mm-hmm. And they're going to use that in order to make the use of your product a little bit easier. In some cases, you can use that to your advantage and actually design those features into your cart itself. This cart right here is actually a great example because this one, when it's going to be repositioned, it was known that the user is going to be using their feet in order to make adjustments to this cart. So this cart actually has wings built into the frame of the cart, made specifically for the user to put their foot on. It's very stable. You can apply a lot of pressure on there, and the cart base itself does not move. So you can put a ton of pressure on this, take and move the adjustments to the arm that you need to or that you would like, and the look and the feel of this fits very well with the cart and how it's used.
Another example of foot placement on this cart here, this cavity that's located at the bottom side of the cart here, that cavity is used for a foot switch. And so a foot switch, normally an operator would come, pull the foot switch out, place it on the ground, and then they would perform their procedure, right? But this was also designed that if an operator wanted to, they could technically just take their foot and do finite adjustments right on there. So again, the idea here was, when we designed this base, was to tilt that foot switch so that an operator could do that, versus if it was flat on this, it would be much harder for the operator to get close enough to the foot switch to be able to operate it. So those are just some human factor things that we took in consideration when designing this base.
So all of those things I think are really great topics for you to take into consideration when putting together how you want your users to use your product, and then also what features you want to take and incorporate into that platform to make that use easier and more pleasing and enjoyable for that experience. One thing that you would probably consider is, when do we have the conversation about ergonomics and usability? Well, typically what we see in the development process is that our customers will take and put together a draft or an idea on how the platform is going to be put together, what devices need to live on it, and so on and so forth. So usually when the ergonomics is going to be taken into consideration during the development stage, the industrial design, so some of those features can be incorporated into that. In other cases, once a functional prototype has been developed, it's a great opportunity or starting point for companies to start getting user feedback and interaction studies in regards to that. Usually a second round of case studies is put together once a functional, or after the functional prototype stage, and a production grade prototype is presented to our clients.
Thank you guys today for joining us on this episode of What's Up with Nick and Chuck, as we reflected on ergonomics. And as you have questions or would like us to get involved in your development process, we'd be happy to engage with you and discuss further about our thoughts and ideas around ergonomics.
Feel free to check us out on our website at www.medicalcarts.org. Please also check out our LinkedIn page, and then if you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out. Thanks a lot.
Take care.